Manchester City have been charged with numerous cases of cheating and breaking of financial fair play rules in the Premier League. The investigation has been ongoing now for over 4 years. Circa 100 charges have been brought against them. They will have to, of course, answer for the alleged crimes against football. They'll have to answer for their potential cheating. And these charges go back a long, long way, as far back as the 2010-11 season and as recent as the 2017-18 campaign. Numerous breaches of financial fair play regulations have been broken. We know that in the past, there's been question marks over a number of the sponsors at Man City, sponsors pumping in 5, 10, 15, 20 million pounds per year. But these organizations not selling products or offering services, having offices, having no turnover, no profit and loss accounts, but still being able to pump millions of pounds into the City group. There's a lot of questions to answer. There is a lot of news to delve into, but fans, of course, want to have their say as well. They're currently in a Premier League title race with Arsenal. Arsenal, the recent team to, be at their best, but up against a potent and very dangerous City team. Neck and neck, fighting hard. But how fair is the fight? How fair is the challenge that Arsenal come up against? How fair is the challenge that Fergie, that Klopp, that Tuchel, that Jose? How fair has the fight been for the past however many years now? Decade, nearly 15 years. How fair has a fight been if Man City have been financially doping? How fair has the fight been if Manchester City have been cheating? That is a question that needs to be answered. That is a question that we need a very swift response to. The news was broke, as you can see here, from Martin Ziegler, who says City have been charged by the Premier League with numerous breaches of financial rules following a 4-year investigation. This is unprecedented, he has stated here. Man City hit with more than 100 charges of breaching rules by the Premier League. Possible sanctions, if found, could include point deductions or an expulsion from the league. So Manchester City could be kicked out the league. That is huge. And I'm just updating my title in here. City to be kicked out of the Premier League. This is huge. And I think City fans, listen, I want to hear from City fans. I want to hear what your defense is. I know that it's not been proven yet, but I want to know what your defense is this morning. And I don't think, by the way, let me just be very categoric, very categoric in what I'm about to say here. If they are proven to have cheated in any of these seasons, any of them, the ramifications live on. Winning trophies breeds success. Success means you attract more talent, and even legitimate money that you're earning has been made through ill-gotten gains. If I go out and sell loads of drugs today, illegal drugs, and make £1 million, and then I invest it on the stock market and make 100 million, the whole 100 million is tainted. And if this is proven, and Man City have cheated, not only should they have a points deduction as a bare minimum, they should be expelled from the Premier League. Non-league football, work your way back up. Let's see how many of your fans stick around. And every single title they have won since 2011 until now is quashed from their history. Every trophy they won in those seasons is quashed from their history, removed and erased. And the teams they beat in finals, or the team that came second in those leagues, win. And by the way, I haven't done the math on this. It probably means Liverpool surpassed Manchester United in total league titles. But I don't care about that. I care about fair play. Imagine how Jose Mourinho that got what, mid 80, high 80 points in 2018 will feel if it turns out that for 7 years in the build up to that, the team he was competing against were cheating so they could afford the players that beat him. Imagine. Imagine how Jurgen Klopp feels, a man who right now Liverpool are on their ass. But imagine if it turns out in this 5-year battle, City have been cheating to stay ahead of him. Now, we don't want to get ahead of ourselves. There's a long way to go in this investigation. But titles removed, expulsion from the Premier League, back down to earth in non-league football, work your way back up. 10-year ban from UEFA. The English, sorry, you can't even, no matter what you do in 10 years, you ain't going back in Europe. You sanction them and you hit them hard. Let's see then if the Sheikh stays around. Let's see then if Guardiola stays. Let's see then if the fans stay around. If this is true, they deserve their day in court. They deserve their right to challenge. They deserve their right to a fair trial. And City fans can say here, I'm being salty. Leng and Sweet, what is your honest response to this, my friend? I want to hear from City fans more than anybody else this morning. I want to know what you're doing here. People say, what's the list of breaches? Well, you can see them here on the screen in front of me. They're on the screen here, and we can go through them here. It says, in respect to each season from the 2019 to 2018, the Premier League rules applicable to those seasons that require provision by a member club in the Premier League in almost good faith of accurate financial information that gives a true and fair view of the club's financial position. So from the 2009 2010 season beyond, we don't know exactly what all the rules were. You can kind of read through this. They just give us the points like rule 16, E.3, E.4, E11, E12, E50. There's loads in there. We don't know exactly what they all relate to. That information isn't made public, but that's a lot of goddamn breaches. It is a lot of breaches that are in there, my friend, that they are facing right now. And this needs a thorough and full investigation. I'm going to go to some of your comments. I want to know what you think and I want to know what you feel. But this is big, bad, dark news. It really, really is for Manchester City. And a few people saying that Gerrard gets the medal. Listen, I'm not going to go into specifics. I'm not going to go into specifics. If we just look at a list of the last Premier League winners, and maybe giving FA Cups or League Cups back to the teams that lost finals is difficult because City also knocked other teams out along the way. I mean, this also throws up sort of conversations over, well, what about teams that they helped get relegated? If we just look from the 09-10 season, so they didn't even win it that year. Chelsea did. United won it in 11. So, I mean, for me, 2012 gets removed and it goes to Manchester United. They beat us on goal difference that year. This is how bad it is. The Aguero moment, if this is true, never gets played again in football. It becomes void. That's how bad this cheating is. They're taking legacy away from a great man like Aguero. But Man United get the 2012 trophy. 2014, Liverpool win that trophy. 2017, 18, Man United get that trophy. In 2019, Liverpool get that trophy. In 2021, Man United win that trophy. So legitimately, I'm going to be very biased here. Manchester United have been cheated out of 3 titles in the last decade or so. Liverpool have been cheated out of 2 titles in the last decade or so. And people will sit there and say, oh, United ain't won a title in 10 years. We've won 2 if they're proven to be guilty, because we would have been the best team in the league that year. And also, the Centurions, was that 17-18 season? Record gone. If this is proven, and I'm telling you now, 110%. What people say that 2018 is the last year. However, let's be fair about this. All the players that they have brought in, the spine they built in the years they cheated, is still benefiting them now. If you're caught being a drugs cheat, I swear you lose medals after that, right? You have everything stripped from you. If I admit to cheating in 2012 when I won the Olympics, you're still benefiting afterwards. But this is different from drugs where it wears off your body to a degree. The squad they built between 2010 and 2018, a lot of that squad has helped them in 2019, helped them in 2020, helped them in 2022. It's helping them now. They've got KDB still. It's given them the financial clout to buy Haaland. Right up until this season, in my opinion, this potential cheating is helping them. But even if it just goes up to 2018, that's still 2 titles for Man United. That's still at least 1 title for Liverpool. And we sit there and we pray. Listen, this isn't on Guardiola unless you knew about it. But we praise Guardiola for what he's achieved. We praise these high points totals. We praise all these things. Oh, look, all the trophies. But it appears it's done via cheating. It appears it's done via cheating. And for me, I need to hear from people now. I need to know what you're thinking. I need to know what you're feeling. We're going to share a link. KJ is going to share it in the Football Terrace group chats for our legends and members, and of course the panelists. I want to know what people think. Love you, Terry. Man is reaching for the title, stripping, talking 3 United championships. Well, again, you're going to say I'm being biased because I'm a Man United fan. That isn't the point I'm making. I'm saying here, just stripping them of 15 points this year, 20 points this year, 30 points this year isn't a punishment. If they still, because they're still benefiting, they won't win the league this year, but they'll win it again next year, maybe. The penalty cannot just be points. That helps Arsenal this year. But what about the teams they actually cheated out of trophies? If it's proven they've broken 3, 4, 5 financial rules, we will need to understand the ramifications of what that allowed them to buy. And then if you turn around and go back to the 2018 season, let's just click on their squad that season, right? I'm going to click on their squad for that year. I don't know if I can actually do that on this. I don't know if it'll actually allow me to look at the squad that they had that season. It may do, it may not. And Pellegrini was Pellegrini. No, he was the manager. Obviously, Pep was there as an example. I don't know if it will show you squads. Be difficult to see. If you go back and kind of look at that squad and look at the players they had, would they have been able to buy them all? Would they have been able to have had all those players? I mean, let's just go to transfers. Let's go to all City transfers here, and see who they bought in those campaigns. So Terry just wants the titles to Man United. They should get them. Man United, Liverpool, anyone they've beaten to titles should receive them, because City wouldn't have had the ability to have beaten them had they not been able to buy those players. So just if we go to the 2017-18 campaign, that year they bought Benjamin Mendy, they bought Kyle Walker, they bought Bernardo Silva, they bought Edison. So let me tell you this now. They went out and bought, they got Laporte in the January. They went out and they purchased those players because the fullbacks and goalkeeper they bought the previous season didn't work. Imagine they had to stick with Bravo. Imagine they had to stick with the fullbacks they purchased the year before. Imagine they couldn't bring in a replacement for Nolito. Imagine they couldn't do these things. Imagine they couldn't do these things. Just deep that for a second. They would no way they're doing Centurions. There's no way they're doing it. And you start going through the years where they cheated. The year before that, they bought John Stones, Sane, Jesus, Gundogan, Zinchenko, who they just made big profits on. Year before that, when they cheated, Kevin De Bruyne, Sterling, Otamendi. The year before that, they bought. They didn't really buy very many people the year before that. They got Bakary Sagna that came in, and whatever. The year before that, Fernandinho, as an example, came into the team. The year before that, you go through those players that helped them win league titles. The year prior to that, Sergio Aguero. How many titles from 2011 onwards did Aguero help them win? Sami Nadri, how many titles did he help them win? You keep going back to the first year they cheated, where they signed. The first year they reportedly cheated, they brought in Dzeko, Yaya Toure, Balotelli. They brought in David Silva. 2 of their club's greatest legends were purchased in the first year of cheating. So my point is this. You add up all those signings and how they're helping them now. Even now, some of those signings are still in and around. The legacy lives on. It's not fair. And now look, I've already said it. They have to be proven. They have to have their day in court. They really do. But at the end of the day, this is unprecedented. This is 100-odd breaches. And we've seen some of these news articles in the past, and they've been played down, and City fans are saying it isn't true. We haven't done anything wrong. This stinks. This stinks. This absolutely stinks, in my opinion. And this needs a thorough. And look, if it turns out they're innocent, completely innocent, I'll come back and say the Premier League is a disgrace. But the fact that City don't have very many fans, the fact that their online presence, the fact that their own stadium isn't even full for big games. The size of their sponsorship deals versus the size of their fan base doesn't make sense, and it's been challenged for many, many years. I've never questioned City spending. I've always said if the owners are willing to invest, the owners are willing to invest. But if it turns out they have cheated in any way, any shape, or any form, strip of titles and expulsion from the Premier League is needed. And by the way, if they don't give the titles to whoever came second, so be it. So be it. But the stripping of titles, the stripping of trophies, and kicked out of the Premier League right down to the very bottom, and then you cap them within those leagues so they just can't spend their way out of it. You basically say you now have to make it the right way. That's it. That is what English football needs to do to cheats like this. That's what they need to do, in my opinion, if they are proven to be guilty. We're going to go here to some of the comments. City to the Championship, please. UEFA ban them from the Champions League is what Dyke here is asking for. City thought they made more than Madrid and United. Listen, Gary Neville, I know he's got a few Arsenal things wrong recently, but he said not long ago that he basically said it doesn't make sense how City are able to earn more money than Man United. And we know that. The fan base is gargantuan. It doesn't make sense. Shame on the English media for enabling and praising City all these years. But City, the media don't know about this. And it's come out now. They purposely ignored all these blatant and obvious violations. Maybe that's actually true, to be fair, making it seem like they got where they are normally. Do you know what I will say about that? I'll change my mind. I've changed my mind slightly based on what you said. You're right. I think certain journalists and pundits were so happy to see the likes of Man United and Arsenal struggle that they kind of just celebrated whatever was there, you know? I have no faith in anything will come out of this. The FA and Premier League are cowards. I hope I am wrong, though. The one thing you will say is that Sheikh Mansour can afford the best lawyers in the world. But remember, this isn't a court case. This isn't a court case. And also, you've got to look at this from a point of view of what are the other Premier League clubs going to do about it? Because they will have a massive say in this. They can vote for things. And for me, the only way that the only way that City will get away with this is if other teams are doing it as well, and the clubs almost want to brush it under the carpet because they're scared of their finances being investigated. But they've got to come down hard. All for City giving up the 2014 Cup win is what they said, and maybe they should. And you know, we've got to have those conversations. You know, the way they battered Watford in the FA Cup final was an example. Would they have been able to do it without a decade of cheating? And even now, and there's a reason that I include Mikel Arteta's face in the thumbnail. Arteta's going up against them now. Would this City team be as good as it is? Would they have even got Pep Guardiola if they hadn't cheated? That's the question. It throws everything into disrepute. This isn't like they do say if you take certain steroids that you feel the benefits even years later. That's why you never get to compete in the Olympics again. Certain things you can compete in. But some drugs are just they help you recover quicker or they keep the fat off and you stop taking them and you go back to normal. But if you've cheated in the beginning, those the ramifications of it now. The example I gave earlier, and I'll give it again. If I steal £1 million today, if I make £1 million through selling illegal drugs, and then I invest it legally in the stock market, make 100 million, the 100 million isn't clean. Now, I might be able to launder it. I might be able to like plug it in certain places, make it look clean and wash it, but it isn't clean. That money has come through ill-gotten gains. If this is proven right, City have generated this. Everything they've got now is through ill-gotten gains. And do you know what I actually expect Man City fans to do if they're found guilty of this? Is appeal it. I expect them to defend their club. But if it's proven to be categorically true, if I see a single City fan stand by their club, no, let me change that. If I see a single City fan stand by the ownership and the board for doing this, you're not a City fan. City fans should be more outraged today than rivals because it's your club that they are the stewards of. They're essentially taking away almost your entire history. City's history up until Sheikh Mansour came in was minuscule at best. It means everything for the past 15 years is potentially worthless, a lie, a sham. You've basically been catfished. You've been catfished. She is not a 5'2" beauty with an hourglass body whose dad's a millionaire who loves you for who you are. She may even be a he. She may have a very different body shape. She may smell a little different. She might have different color hair. Maybe it ain't as soft. Maybe it ain't as well tendered. We've all seen catfish. City fans may have been catfished here by Sheikh Mansour and the owners, and they should be as horrified as anybody else. Because if I was finding out news today that everything Fergie won was tainted through cheating, whether it's paying refs, bribing officials, or cheating the financial system to be able to buy more than other people, I would be ashamed of my club. I would defend it in the first instance. Let's wait for the evidence. Let's wait for the court case. But I would be sitting there saying, this turns out to be true, I'm done. I once said this when there was a big court, there was big cases going on, wasn't there? With certain clubs in England, there was all these historic cases of child abuse that happened at their clubs, and it was covered up. And I said at the time, if Man United turn out to be a club that have covered something like this up for decades and hid it, I will stop supporting the club. And I stand by that. I'd stand by it. If especially in the modern day era, if it turned out between the 80s, the 90s, and the noughties that Fergie and co were covering up something like that, I couldn't support them or the club anymore. Couldn't do it. My morality is too high. So I'm not digging City out here because it's not my club and it's easy. I'm talking about football. I'm talking about football. Super chat here says, even at minimum, they should receive a transfer ban or serious restrictions. That will be interesting considering Pep is approaching his first rebuild and seems to crumble under scrutiny and pressure. Will he go? Pep, if this is proven, Pep Guardiola walks away instantly. Pep Guardiola, he's earned this right, but he only manages the clubs in countries where they are the most powerful or one of the two most powerful. And if City lose their ability to buy players, ability to spend money, points deductions, he is not staying. He is not staying. He will go and get a job in another country where he'll go and take over PSG. He'll go and take over. He could go back to Bayern Munich. He could go back to Barca. He could go take over whoever the powerhouse right now is in Italy with the most money. That is what he'll do. Guardiola will always go to the team with the most money and the most power in a league that they are already the most dominant in, or one of the most dominant teams in. That's what he'll do. I'd rather not be gifted the title this year. To be honest, let's beat them this season, then chuck them out. I understand that notion, and some United fans in the comments have said, I don't want to be gifted titles. But you're not being gifted. You're kind of seeing it the wrong way around. Some boxers, by the way, don't care if their opponent has taken drugs in the build-up fights. He may have lost, but Chris Eubanks Jr. and Conor Ben, by the way, might be able to prove his innocence. I don't know about this, but he basically said, I'll still fight him even if he has taken it because I can beat him. But that's a dangerous thing to do, especially in the game of fighting. I kind of get if we beat them after they've financially doped their team up, what an even bigger achievement. I get that. But at the same time, you're not being gifted anything. You're legitimately not being gifted anything. They shouldn't have the power to keep up with you if they hadn't have cheated. It's not a gift. The playing field's being leveled out. I don't kind of see it that way. If I'm in a 100-meter sprint race and I finish second by 2/100ths of a second, but it turns out the guy's been doping, you're not gifting me the gold medal. I don't know if they bump you up the gold medal. I don't actually know the rules on that, but you wouldn't be gifting it to me. If he hadn't cheated, I'd have beaten him. So, do you get where I'm coming from? It looks shaky for Sheikh. Here's what Benji says here. President Jaffa says, if they had anything like this on Chelsea, oh my days. Listen, and Chelsea have got to every club's got to make sure their house is in order. Chelsea definitely. So Terry in the chat, who are we taking from City's team? Well, listen, this is also something that will happen now. People will start to look at it and say, can we benefit? Can we benefit from this? Can we use this to our advantage? Making more revenue than Madrid and United, lol, is what's said there about City. Yeah. Love how everybody are preying on City's downfall. They are not going anywhere. Look, if they've done nothing, then they deserve nothing to happen to them. If they've broken rules and their only punishment is like a 10 points deduction, there's a problem with the Premier League. And I think protests and strikes have got to start. Fans have got to stand up against it because it basically just means that everybody can cheat. That just means everyone should start cheating. Do you know what I'm saying? Ryan Mason, cup winning manager, is it? Maybe he is. Pepsi Guardiola to Chelsea, bring Alvarez with him. Well, these things could potentially happen. I hear you on that. And by the way, I will be honest with you. You all know how unbiased I am. I would be saying exactly the same things here if it was Manchester United. In fact, I'd be going in a lot harder because I feel hurt. You know, I'm someone that self polices a lot more than I do. Breaking news: Pep seen with Todd Bowley here. Terry, you praise Newcastle's oil money. I don't praise it. I say I have no problem with it. If it turns out they're cheating, I have a problem with it. Not everyone with a billionaire owner cheats. Turns out Roman Abramovich didn't cheat. Roman did it without cheating, but then Chelsea are a bigger club than City. Equally, Roman Abramovich had between 2003 and 2012, I think, before FFP came in. So he had nearly a decade of pumping exorbitant amounts of money in. City only had 2 or 3 years. If City had to slow down their spending, they wouldn't be where they are now. It's why, as good as Newcastle were doing, when they got taken over by the Saudis, and everyone thought, oh, they're going to spend 400 or 500 million a summer because their owners are worth 200 billion. It's a nonsense. You can't do that anymore. Like, people have got to learn the regulations, and it would change their mind. This here says City fans weren't catfished. They looked the other way for over a decade, knowing full well it was shady, is what SM thinks about this situation. That's an interesting call that's being made there. And look, some City fans will fight me. I'm seeing City fans in the comments completely 110% supporting the club. Terry, the Premier League should let them finish the season with no deductions, but relegate them next year. If they're not going to strip them of old titles, then yes, because then you get into the realms of why are the teams fighting for the title this year benefiting, and teams who lost out haven't. And everything else. But there's lots of there could also be big legal cases put against. I mean, this could theoretically end Man City as a football club, because you've got to look at it this way. If we just look at I'm just going to go to the Premier League here. I'm just going to go to their website for a second, and I want to throw this out as a theory. Now, again, if forget fans, I'm not a football club. Let's go and have a look at the 2017-18 season, Centurion year. Chelsea missed out that season on the Champions League by 5 points. There is an argument that Chelsea could make that if City hadn't financially doped, maybe we could have finished in front of them. Therefore, we missed out on. Champions League football. You go to like the 2013 season as an example. Like, Tottenham missed out. They were only 6 points behind City. If City didn't cheat, could they have finished in the Champions League? There could be lawsuits leveled against them by clubs, who say, well, we've missed out on Champions League spots. We've missed out on progressions in cup competitions. We've missed out on potential, like the teams that came second. We've missed out on potential bonuses from sponsors because we didn't win the league title, but you did it for financial cheating. This is what happens when you cheat. There are so many ramifications that could come out. There really, really is. If true, there must be a points deduction. I think there's a bare minimum, and maybe for multiple seasons as well. City's biggest problem is their obsession with comparing themselves to United. If that wasn't the case, they would have grown their revenue organically. Instead, they now have to fake income that everyone and not enough real fans. Listen, I agree with that. I think they've made it their desperation to turn over more money than Man United has probably created this in part. But we see, there's been loads of ramifications there. I'll tell you a really big season where Arsenal could sue them. 2016-17. Did they? I'm just going to check and put the list back up. Did they cheat in that season? 60. Yeah, they did. They cheated every year, allegedly. Arsenal finished on 75 points that season. City finished on 78. City came third. It is not beyond the realms of possibility that Arsenal Football Club could have finished ahead of City if they hadn't cheated that year. Who did they sign just in that season alone in 16, 17? Who did City even sign? Let's have a little look here. See, look at the players they signed that year. John Stones, Leroy Sané, Gabriel Jesus, Ilkay Gundogan. You think of the 16, 17, it was Pep Guardiola's first year. Zinchenko came in as an example. Like the year before that, Kevin De Bruyne and Sterling came in. So when you start looking at this and you start being realistic about it, Arsenal finished a handful of points away from a Champions League place. That's worth £60 million to Arsenal. But City, over the previous 2 seasons prior to that, pumped their club full of players that stopped it from happening. That isn't fair. There are so many. I mean, this could theoretically, I'm just throwing this out there. With lawsuits, this could end Man City as we know them forever. It could. And by the way, the Sheikh sells or stops pumping money in. The Arsenal blueprint here says, I'm fuming. I bet you are, my friend. Every single football fan in the world, in England especially, should be fuming at this. This is beyond a disgrace. And to just bring the breaking news back in case anybody is just tuning in, Manchester City have been formally charged by the Premier League with numerous breaches of financial fair play rules following a 4-year thorough investigation. What they've been charged of is unprecedented. Unprecedented. From the 09-10 season through to the 17-18 season, as you can see here on average, 4 to 5 to 6 breaches named and over 100 breaches in total. Over 100 breaches in total. Over 100 charges of breaching rules. Possible sanctions, if found proven, include points deductions or even expulsion from the Premier League. This is potentially the biggest news to ever hit the English Premier League, the biggest scandal to hit the English Premier League. This is something that, by the way, the European clubs are going to come for us for. They hate how much money we've got. They hate the kind of owners we have. And this is also going to make it harder for other teams who have owners from the Middle East to even get people in, because what you'll now get are rules and regulations and sanctions that make it even harder. And there's Middle Eastern people that want to buy Man United and want to buy Liverpool now. It doesn't mean they're going to cheat. There's so many ramifications here. So many. Even with all lawyers in the world, they cannot escape all. Yeah, I'd be very surprised if they remember this. This is why I would say to Man City fans, it's alleged. It's alleged. I'm going to say it's alleged. You can't sue me. But this is why you're in trouble. And City fans celebrated this, but they shouldn't. Okay. The reason that you didn't get done by UEFA under FFP is because of a time-barred rule. Go back and watch my stream when you were found innocent because of the time bar rule. We put up a comment on the screen from a journalist who said the Premier League are investigating and there are no time bar rules in our league. City got away with FFP breaches and doctoring their accounts because of a technicality. Not because of innocence, because of a technicality. So if those technicalities don't exist in the Premier League and they're broken, but what is proven is there, you're fine. I think in the States there's something called it might not be the word statute, something of limitations. I don't know if it's status of limitation, something like this. I'm dumb because I don't understand it. How do you pronounce that word? Statute of limitations. I'm dumb. I'm very sorry. I'm a moron. Where after a certain period of time, you can't be charged for something. That don't make you innocent. Like when you deep that doesn't make you innocent. If I could rob a bank and as long as I'm not convicted within 10 years, I'm innocent. Doesn't mean I didn't rob the bank. City fans right now, I genuinely mean this. You should be absolutely shitting your pants. You should be scared of this right now. You really should. Give Stevie G the Premier League medal. GOAT convo is pending, is what Sarim says. Could Todd B go for Pep? Listen, that whole City squad, I'm telling you now, clubs are already circling. They'll be like, right, let's start getting listen, Haaland to Man United. PSG better watch out as well. Listen, I think all the clubs that have sort of state ownership, as it were, will probably be going, all right, we need to make. Well, this is what you would hope, though, wouldn't you? Like with Newcastle, the reason why I think Newcastle won't get done for anything like this is because they'll know what City have done and be like, all right, let's just make sure we don't do that. Do you know what I'm saying? Terry, question is, where has the Premier League been for 10 years? Well, they've been investigating it for 4. And obviously, I think that so it's about when things get raised. And they obviously did. I don't know how it works. Do they do spot checks? Do they? Is it like I know in America we don't have it here because people don't do their own accounting generally as they're a business. Did they? Was it like a random auditing? Was there a tip off? Yeah, well, maybe we'll find all this out. I get you, but everyone will play our titles down. Listen, people will play Arsenal's title down if City get a points deduction to a certain degree. But then I don't think they will in their entirety, because if you think about every single one of the top 6 has been damaged in either a league campaign or a cup competition by Man City. At some point, all of our teams have been damaged by them. So I don't think anyone would ever go at Arsenal, to be perfectly honest with you. Do you think Pep is a world-class manager, considering he only managed top teams with top players, unlike Arteta, who is rebuilding with the young talent? Yeah, I do think he's a world-class manager. I do. I think he's earned the right through what he did at Barca to move into these big teams. One thing he doesn't have on his CV, though, to be the greatest, is building a giant out of nothing or taking over an unfavored club and winning something major. Fergie did it with Aberdeen. Jose did it with Porto. If Arteta builds up Arsenal and you've won an FA Cup, you win a Prem, you win multiple Prems, you win a Champions League, that's something Guardiola doesn't have as part of his CV. Is you've either reignited a giant who have been out of the conversation for a decade or so or more, or taken over a smaller club that isn't meant to win the major trophies and does. But it doesn't mean he isn't a world-class manager. It's just something that he hasn't achieved. The same as Jose's never developed a young, brilliant football team, and it's like he buys ready-made players. So there are horses for courses, but I would say Guardiola is world-class. The FA should give the 2019 Carabao Cup to us, Chelsea. I looked up previous FFP breaches, including ones in September 22, but no mention of a number of breaches by each club was mentioned. The explicit mentioning of 100 breaches is a big red flag. Listen, the journalist Martin Ziegler, who has put this out, he's not a hyperbolic desk journalist at The Sun. The guy's legit. And I bet if you were to ask him, he's been working on his article for a long, long time indeed. A hell of a long time indeed. City's best defense is have you seen Chelsea? As money talks, Man City won't be kicked out the Premier League. Our best hope is for a points deduction or maybe a Champions League ban. I mean, again, there's numerous. Yeah, maybe just say, listen, you can be in the league. There's no points deduction, but you can't. We cap how much. I don't know, 4-year transfer ban, and for as many years as you cheated, even if you win the league, you don't get to play in Europe. That way, you financially punish them for a long time. Let's not forget City spending inflated the transfer market. They were the first to drop 220k on a player, on Yaya, and now spending 800k a week on Haaland. And this is the point. They may not have breached rules in the last 2 or 3 years, but would they have won the trophies, grown their reach online, and grown their audiences and marketability, hadn't have won all those trophies by cheating in the first place? For me, the answer is absolutely no. KDB to Liverpool, since he said he is a Liverpool fan. Plus, does this mean Liverpool will get 2 leagues awarded to them since we lost 2 titles? I think you should. My personal belief is that Liverpool should be awarded those 2 trophies. I think anybody that's come second to City since 2010 should be awarded a title. Anyone who's come second. Premier League shown teeth just as the government white paper comes out. UEFA said they will not strip City of the Champions Leagues. That's funny. Worse than Juve's debacle. I mean, I haven't followed Juve's debacle overly closely. I cover the top 6 teams in England, but it's an absolute sham. It's an absolute sham. What has been going on here? I want to hear from some people. I want to know what's going through people's minds on this because it's just a ridiculous size news. It really, really is. I'm just gonna go to Twitter for a minute because obviously Twitter's gonna have stuff trending. New stuff may have broken since we've been live, so I want to keep myself sort of abreast of this, as it were. Um, yeah, big United accounts are talking. Do you know the biggest thing I'd be scared of losing as a City fan? It would be that Aguero moment. The Aguero moment would be for me the biggest thing I'd be scared of losing. Legitimately. I want to say, by the way, in terms of supporting the terrace, thank you here to Josh, who says we have over 5K people watching with less than 1K likes. Let's get it to 2K. Do us a favor right now, my friends, and everyone tuning in. Please hit that like button. Get it past the 2,000 mark just to support me and the terrace. Just, I mean, you've got to like the news or like the subject matter. I'm sure you're enjoying what you're watching. That's why so many of you are here. But hit the like button for us right now, people. Pep can come and be Arteta's cone boy. That's actually the best super chat of the day so far. That's actually funny. That's actually funny. Um, that's actually funny. But yeah, just looking here on Twitter, as I was saying, just to kind of ascertain what people are saying out here, and there's a lot of obviously there's a lot of sort of big United accounts talking about it, which they would be because there's such a close connection. Oh, hang on a minute. So this is an interesting quote. I want to put this up. So again, you learn things that you didn't know. So I'm just gonna screenshot this. This just come from Fraser Fletcher, and this was Pep Guardiola back in May. So I want to put this up. So a lot of people saying, did Pep Guardiola know about it? I've already said I don't think he would. I don't think this is something the players, the managers understand how football finance works, but what they won't get involved with, in my opinion, is the way the accounts work. Pep Guardiola is not going to sit there and say, "Look, can I review the way you do the accounting so I can make sure it's fair?" That isn't his job in any way, shape, or form. But look at this comment here. This is huge. This is huge. Pep Guardiola discussing investigation of Man City last year. If they lie to me, the day after I'm not here, I will be out and I will not be their friend anymore. I put my faith in them because I believe in them 100% from day one, and I defend the club because of that. So Guardiola has said, and you can see that here, I'm not twisting his words. He has literally said, if Man City have lied, and if Man City have cheated, and if Manchester City have broken these rules, and they've broken these rules, I'm leaving. And I told you he would. He would 110% walk away from this club because I don't think people realize what this means, and people ain't deeping this. It means that Pep Guardiola's 7 years at Man City are a sham. It means none of his trophies mean anything. It means all these league titles are null and void. And this is a man who is closing in on Sir Alex Ferguson, as in total trophies won in his career. So of course Pep Guardiola is going to walk away because you literally take 4 league titles, 5 league cups, an FA Cup. You take all those titles away from his CV, and he can't get that time back. You can't give Guardiola 7 years of his career back. And if they get quashed and he loses those, think about the players. You've got someone like KDB, who currently sits in my top 5 Premier League midfielders of all time. 1 for his ability, 2 for his outputs, 3 for his consistency, and 4 because of the trophies that he's won. You take those trophies away, he ain't in the top 10 anymore. You take away legacy of managers, you take away legacy of players. Jamie Carragher has spoken here and said, this can't be right. Man City bring in more commercial revenue than Real Madrid, Barca, Bayern Munich, Man United, and Liverpool. And that's why we know this is a sham. That is why we know that this is an absolute categoric sham. We know it is. And we know it's a sham. And we know it's a sham because we just know that this situation, they wouldn't be able to create that income with the size of their fan base. And City fans always think we're having a dig at them. City fans always think we're having a go at them. City fans always think we're calling them out. We're not. We're just speaking facts here. We're speaking pure, unadulterated facts. We always have been, and we always will be. So I'm just trying to get this report that's come out, and I'm just trying to download it so I can play it for you via the system here. So just bear with me while I do it. One man team here doing this. So, I'm not like Sky Sports. I ain't got it all. I am going to share the link in the comment sections if anybody wants to come on and have their say in the last segment of this morning show. That was me getting ready to do a fan channel reaction. And I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. This was far too big, in my personal opinion, to be ignored. It absolutely would. It absolutely was. Someone said they've sent me a DM. I'm going to go to my DMs now. This is I've been sent one from. Yeah, I've been sent that by a Winter Surfer. I've been sent another one here by Sean. He sent me a photo. What's he sent me? Oh wow. So actually, there's more. There's more. There's more people. And maybe Neeks, if you're still watching, brother, you wait till you see this. I didn't see this in the original tweet. Oh wow, there is more. There is more. There is more. There is goddamn more. Done. Man United need 3 trophies. Liverpool need 2. Points deduction this year. Because there've also been breaches between 2018 and this season. There's more breaches. There's more breaches. They're done. They didn't even stop. They didn't even stop after UEFA's investigation. They didn't even stop. Allegedly. Allegedly. They didn't stop. This is a disgrace. This is outrageous. This is unprecedented in our times. They need to call the Avengers in to fix this. Bruv, honestly, Man City needs to use their money right now to work out a way of bringing Kim Kardashian's dad back to life. Only OJ's lawyers are getting them off. They need a madness. They need a new pandemic. They need the world to end. They need the world to end. They are done. And Neeks, are you watching, brother? I don't care. I'm saying this now. Manchester United have 23 league titles. Liverpool have 21 league titles. That's it. I am talking that into existence. I don't care. If they're proven to be innocent, I will come back and apologize. Full apology. I'm going to be blunt with you. I believe they've cheated. I'm going to be truthful. I believe they've cheated. There's too many breaches for too many years with too many accusations going around. The fact they got away with it under the UEFA because of a time bar rule, they are cheats. Allegedly, they are cheats. And for me, I mean this without a shadow of a doubt. Man United, 23 league titles we've won. When are United going to pay that £1 billion debt off? Show me where that's against the law of football. Show me where us being run poorly by the Glazers is against the rules. I'm sorry, Blue Viper. I respect you as a member of the Terrace. But you coming and attacking Manchester United when your club has been accused of the biggest form of cheating in the history of Premier League football is outrageous. Man City are dead. They're finished. A recap for everyone new tuning in. Man City have been charged by the Premier League for numerous breaches of financial fair play rules. These breaches started in 2009 and have continued all the way through until 2023. 2009 to 2023. In their entirety, there's over 100 breaches, possible points deductions, and even an expulsion from the league are being discussed, of course, if proven guilty in a I don't know what type of court it will be, but in a court of law. It won't be a crown court, it'll be a court of law. They are done out here. And I mean this, and I've said it already. In my opinion, and I'll reiterate this again, the amount of years it's been going on for, the level of breaches, the volume of breaches that couple with it, the fact they only got away with the UEFA charge because of time barring, the fact they're posting revenues bigger than Man United, Liverpool, Madrid, Barca, Bayern Munich, at the same time they don't even sell their stadium out. I know these are allegations, but I believe that Manchester City have cheated. And if true, points deductions, expulsions, being banned from being allowed by the English authorities to compete in Europe must happen. And every single trophy won from 2009 until this point has to be removed, rubbed off, evaporated from Manchester City's history. Every player has to give their winners' medals back. Pep, his winners' medal back. That trophy cabinet, the replicas given back. I even think City fans should be made by Facebook to literally delete all their pictures of the trophies they've posted. And City fans should be more angry about this than anybody. Because if these allegations are true, your club's entire history is a sham. You've been lied to, you've been cheated on, you've been hoodwinked, you've been catfished by your football club. This is outrageous. Outrageous. And I think more is going to come out. Let's look at some more super chats here. This is a good day for other clubs that they can't simply get away with this type of spending and accounting. It is a good day. It's a good day for football if it's true, if the allegations are true. Terry, could we be awarded the 2018, 17-18 under Ollie? Wait, do you know what's crazy about this? Ole Gunnar Solskjaer could have 2 Premier League titles. No, 2018 was Jose. No, 2018 was Jose. We only come second once under Ollie. We only come second once, I think, under Ollie. So he wouldn't get that. Where do Arsenal get a retrospective title win? The only time they finished second was behind Leicester. Yeah, they wouldn't, in my opinion. But it would take City out of this year's title race, and Arsenal were already the best team. This here says, Terry, Ollie could have won the league. And these are the things. Look, I'm not going to play revisionism. I'm not going to say, oh, if Ollie won the league, maybe the confidence would have grown, blah, 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 blah. But just someone's CV. Just think of the managers who have missed. Just think about poor Brendan. Forget Man United. So you don't think I'm being biased. Think about Brendan Rodgers. Think about how different his career might be now if he'd have won the league back in 2014. This is why it's huge. Can't just give titles, must take away all results. I mean, this is the point. They may not give the trophies to the team that comes second because you could argue, well, I wouldn't have got relegated if we'd have beaten City twice. If they didn't have the money. So maybe they just strip the titles from the club. That's the bare minimum. They may not award them to other people, but they have to strip them from City. Todd Chelsea is next, is what Black Gemini says. Terry, can you go through the rule codes for us? I don't know where to find those rule codes. I'll have to do that research. We'll talk about that on the Top 6 show at 6 p.m. So remember, Top 6 show at 6 is going to be litty. It's going to be litty. It's going to be on fire. It's going to be on fire. We did have Patrick backstage as a City fan, but he didn't turn it. If you don't turn your cameras on, I don't know when you're ready to speak, or unmute yourselves. And that's like my little warning thing. Sorry. Liverpool need 3 more trophies, 2014 as well. But you've only come second once, right? Oh, is it 3? Let me just check. Is it 3 for Liverpool? Listen, I'm willing. I'm giving them out, mate. I'm giving these. I mean, I'm not the arbitrator of this here, but I'm giving all these trophies out. I'm telling you now. List of Premier League winners. Let me just go back to this list again. You're probably right, and I may have just missed it. So Liverpool have come second. Oh yeah, last year. Sorry, I'm dumb. Yeah, Liverpool 3. Liverpool did a domestic treble last year. Sorry, Liverpool with 3. I got that wrong earlier. United with 3. It changed. This is what's crazy about it. This is City's decade. It's gone. Do you know the irony? This is City's decade, but it wasn't. It was Man United and Liverpool's. Man United and Liverpool had a rivalry that we didn't know existed. Crazy. Also, if Arsenal comes second this season, we are champions. Absolutely right. City investigation for 4 years. Chelsea fans 4 years ago, you had Abramovich and now Bowley. Be worried? I wouldn't be for now. Arsenal should get the League Cup 2. What League Cup? Did you lose the League Cup final to City? I don't remember that. Man City could face points deduction or even relegation if they are found guilty of at least 50% of the charges. Wow. Huge. Thank you, Abs, for becoming a member. Thank you, Daryl, for becoming a member of the Football Terrace. You mock people relying on outsiders and mock folk crying FFP regards Chelsea 2 days ago. We're watching you in real time have meltdowns daily. But Chelsea aren't breaking FFP rules. That's the difference. If Chelsea keeps spending 700 million a year in, year out, and their revenue isn't growing organically, then I'll start to question it. But they've explained what they're doing. We're going to spend big for a couple of years, and we're going to spread that cost over a 7, 8, 9 year period, and then slow the spending down. In that time, they believe Chelsea have got a huge global fan base. In that time, they believe through their connections, they're going to bring in bigger commercial deals, bigger sponsorship deals, and bigger revenues that will see this spending at the beginning covered. And they believe it will be covered by the time FFP could become a problem. So they've stated what they're going to do. Now, your point holds water, Chris. If we get to that stage and, oh, by the way, 3 of these sponsorship deals now look dodgy, then I'll question them. But until they break the rules, which they can't have broke right now because they've only been there 5, 6 months, I'm not going to slam it. I'm not going to slam it until they actually are accused of cheating because I don't know. But everything they've explained so far works in theory from an accounting point of view under FFP. That may change when the FFP rules are adjusted soon to spending a percentage of your turnover. So you won't be able to amortize it as much either because they're going to bring a cap in on the contracts. The fact they're bringing a cap in on the contracts should be the alarm bell you need to go, and they're not cheating then. They will be, though, in future if they give 8-year deals out when they're only meant to give 5. And they say to players, look, we'll keep paying you even after you've left or something weird like that. But even then, if clubs agree to take installments over 8, 9 years, I don't think there's nothing the UEFA can do about that. Arteta knew about it. Deduct Arsenal too. It's United's to win. That's funny. Terry, the rule codes are in the Premier League handbook. Okay, let me just have a look at Premier League handbook. I need Patrick back, KJ, if you're listening. Let me see how thick this handbook is, bruv. Bruv, this handbook is long. How do I know what pages this stuff's on? Oh, bruv, yeah, I ain't going through this. How many pages is it? Yeah, there's 338 pages, bruv. I ain't going through it right now. I respect you. I ain't going through it right now. Here we go. Haaland joins Man United. It could happen. Liverpool making a tradition of winning all their Premier League trophies without their fans. What happened to go Premier League teams? Oh, yeah, ends that debate as well, doesn't it? It ends that debate. Money can't buy everything. For everything else, there's MasterCard. I shouldn't even laugh, but that's actually, again, a very, very funny tweet about a horrible situation. And do you know what it is? This isn't a heinous situation. This isn't like life or death for people. This is just like crazy. So you can make jokes about this. I don't know how everyone can be shocked at financial corruption in football in a society that rewards financial corruption and loopholes. Yes, I know I'm cynical. No, I hear you. I absolutely hear you. Absolutely hear you. Someone here says Liverpool should have 4 titles. Why 4? What have I not? Have I missed one? Have Liverpool come second 4 times? Maybe you have done. Like I'm not even like overly challenging it. I'm just saying I don't know. Have you been there 4 times? Like you're saying all these years. I might have just misread it because I'm so pepped up right now. So let's go to this now. 1, 2, no. You've come second 3 times. Why would you get it in 2019? 2019 you were there. 2020 would you come? So you won it in 20. Oh, you're saying you've got 4 league titles in this period. I mean that changes Klopp's CV. Suddenly Klopp goes like, do you know what I'm saying? Suddenly Klopp's got more EPLs than Wenger, and he's won a back-to-back in the Champions League, meaning He's the second best manager in the history of the Premier League. It's why it's got to be investigated. You know, it's got to be investigated. It really is. Someone here says, Terry, read my super chat. I'm going to get to it in just a moment. Egal's joining me in a minute. I think Winter Surfer is going to be coming on soon as well with us to have his say. Their cameras are turned on, so I know they are ready to go. Where I don't know where your super chat is, my bro. Did KJ not star it? KJ may not start it. I'm not blaming KJ. I'm saying I can't see it, and maybe I've gone past it. Let me just scroll back and see if I can find it. G. I can't find it. KJ's. I think KJ's looking. KJ's going to search back and find it, and I'll try and get it up in a minute, my friend. This super chat here says League Cup final in 2018. City. Oh yeah, was it? I forgot. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough, my bro. You're only looking at Chelsea through Bowley this year. FFP clearly has been watching teams for years and past years for Abramovich. Now I agree, and that's why I would say, like, and with everything that was going on at Chelsea with Russia, they would have definitely looked and investigated. You are naive and delusional if you think there's going to be a punishment. They're going to get away with it like always. And do you know what? I understand that cynicism. I understand that. Don't think Man City will be charged in terms of points deduction or demotion. City will fight in the courts and think this will become political. Oh, some people, by the way, will make this political. Some people will say it's because of where the owners are from. And I understand that train of thought to think that. But you know, they're not going for, they're not looking at Newcastle right now. There's not a vendetta to get them, as an example. You've had Roman that never faced anything under FFP, as an example. So I don't know if that's true. I don't know the nationality and religions of all the other owners of clubs. I've never felt it necessary in any way, shape, or form. Like, I never go and check what anyone's religion or nationality is unless I need it for a specific reason. But some people will go, "Oh, this is just because, you know, they're from the Middle East." I don't think that's true. I think this is because they've cheated. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Investigation will take a while because City can appeal. The punishment will be next season earliest, so City can still win the league this season. They can, but I don't think they will. Chelsea lost to City in the FA Cup and League Cup this season. Our season could be completely different if they weren't cheating. It's a fair argument. And my guy here says, here we go, Haaland to join Man United. I doubt it, but he could. I'd love it, though. Chelsea, City, Paul, United, Arsenal title challenges, just like the old days, happened to Juve in 2015, got demoted to Serie A. Did anybody else? I don't think anybody got awarded their titles, though. So, look, again, I think the teams that come second should get them. I don't think we will, but they should. I can't believe I've been streaming for an hour. Winter Surfer and Igawa joining me now. Gents, this is unprecedented. Inter got awarded the title today. Fair enough. Someone said to me in another comment said they didn't get it. This is unprecedented news. This is unprecedented news. City allegedly cheating for the best part of a decade. 100 breaches. What's your thoughts, Igal?
First things first, I'm not going to come here and celebrate it or anything. Honestly, I understand. I feel bad for the fans because they don't deserve this. They obviously they don't know what's going on behind the scenes. So commiserations to them for if this goes bad for you guys. But when it comes to the actual situation at hand, Terry, since 2009, that's crazy. They have so much. They must have massive evidence on these guys because usually you don't see a Premier League statement when these rumors are coming out. They've done their due diligence. They must have. At this point, can we say it's even like allegations when the Premier League is coming out and making a statement?
So it's always, by law, it's always an allegation until it's proven. So because it hasn't been proven, City have the legal right to appeal and challenge. So until that's proven and a judge says they are 100% guilty of the charges, it is always an allegation. Yes.
One of the charges is that they didn't cooperate with the investigation, though. So that is one of the charges. Another one that I seen was something about they said something around cooking the books in regards to the manager payments, player payments, and some other things. I just seen a bunch of tweets, right? And then you go to the situation where we're talking about who finished second and would get awarded leagues. Imagine Liverpool, yes, they could be awarded another 3 Premier Leagues. Also, Manchester United could be awarded another 3 Premier Leagues. in addition to, I think, Chelsea, and I don't know if anyone else did. But with all of that, funny enough, Tottenham don't get any Premier Leagues out of all those.
No,
But getting back to the seriousness for a second, Terry. If this all happened prior to Pep's reign, prior to Pep coming in, since it is up until 2017-ish, does that mean everything above that also gets affected? These are some of the things that I would wonder.
So we thought that, but if I just put this on the screen, so what Martin Ziegler shared was this here from 2009 until 2018, but another document has now been released. It also goes right up till 2023. So there
Wow.
are breaches that have been broken in every single season, allegedly, including this one. And I think for me, what stands out is the breach. The breaches that UEFA investigated that they couldn't be found guilty on. So some of them they cleared, but there were some that essentially were you would have been found guilty if they weren't time barred. And the one thing that City, the scariest bit about this, if I'm a City fan looking, I'm going, right, we got away with one, right? We didn't beat the case, we got lucky, right? And it's like they've potentially continued to cheat from that point, knowing the Premier League were investigating them, which is crazy to me. Patrick's here. Patrick is a City fan. What are you saying about this, Patrick? Like, this is devastating news for your club. Potentially, your club's entire legacy could be taken away from you now, kicked out the Premier League, and of course, nobody wants to be a cheat. So, like, how do you feel about it?
It's not bad. I hear the only thing we have to be scared of is Millwall in the Championship, because they're very aggressive, aggressive team. Look, at the end of the day, if you're caught doing something, if it happens, obviously right now it's just allegedly. It's not something that obviously has gone on. I'm pretty sure, Terry, as you know, like I've been to cases in court and stuff and seen people, like people know, not cases about me, but about other people. They'll know prior before they go to the court. So I'm pretty sure the club knew all this time what was going to happen. They already communicated in secret. It's just now that the media has it in their hands. And you know this, Terry, things like this, even if they go to court, it doesn't mean it's recently. I'm pretty sure it's going to take time. I'm pretty sure City are going to fight it, as always. But at the end of the day, out of 100, some of them might be serious, some of them might not be. But I'm pretty sure there's a point of deduction coming in. I was reading the Juventus one from years ago when they were sent down for paying refs and they fixing matches. To be honest with you, looking at that, just reading it, we are sort of in hot water, you can say. But at the end of the day, I was also saying it in a space. This is when we see who sticks with the club. This is when we see which YouTubers will continue to the end representing City, even if we go down, which fans will continue. Obviously, it hurts for most fans. I've been on a space right now. There's one going on. It's actually gone over a lot of people listening in. A lot of them are Arsenal fans. They seem like they're enjoying this more than everybody. Sending people requests for friendship. But to be honest with you, yes, it's going to hurt because everybody's going to sit there and say, okay, so we were lied to and we were not taught the truth. But at the end of the day, I'm just going to leave it, I was sitting there and thinking this morning, I'm just a fan. So whatever happens, it's with the club. If the club ends up in Championship or wherever we end up, I will still be there saying City. Obviously, in that way, we're not going to be in the Prem anymore. But I doubt about this whole thing where people are saying trophies will be given to someone else. Because as I said, I went to study a few things. Trophy never gets given to anybody. They just leave it there. They just give them penalty fees, point reductions. Some teams are kicked out of the league, but no trophy is ever given to anybody who finished second. To be honest with you, you're right. I was listening to you earlier on. I think if this is true, again, allegedly, Pep would be hurt because he came here, I think, with a mission of the Fergie trophies, because you can see he stayed at City for so long. He hasn't stayed anywhere else but City for so long. And these are his friends, not obviously the chairman, but the other guys, the sports director. All these guys are his friends from Barcelona. So I'm pretty sure if they didn't tell him, which I doubt, I think maybe he's just doing it for the media. I'm pretty sure a few things he was shown that Pep, this might happen, this might come through. Because don't forget, there was a statement from the club for January saying, we don't need anybody else. We don't need to buy more players. We're good. Yet, if you look at the squad, you're like, are we good? You're playing Lewis as a left back. So maybe they knew, Terry. That's why I keep saying, even the UEFA ban. You remember when UEFA banned us? There were
Yeah.
funny statements from the club saying, we're not buying this season, or we are good. I think they know. They knew this. So we'll just see what the club says. But yes, right now as we speak, all City fans are in the mud. If a City fan is coming out saying, "Oh, it's all good," no, we are in the mud. If these things stick, trust me, it's not going to look good for us.
Yeah, listen, I get where you're coming from. I think from a City fan's point of view, and it's good to hear your honesty there. Like you guys can only sit back and hope that that you do beat the case, and that it's all that the only thing I'd be worried about is this: when there's 100 breaches, it's like you can't have accountants that are this bad that make such bad mistakes that they're all mistakes. That's your Man City. So I kind of look at it and I would be worried if I was a City fan. But equally, there's not much you can do until that point. But I agree with you around Pep. Pep will walk because as I was looking, actually the other day I was just looking. I looked at Pep's CV and how many trophies he won. I went and looked at Fergie. I don't know why. I was just kind of, sometimes you get on the internet and you fall into a bit of a black hole where you're just reading and researching. And I was like, damn, man's like early, mid-50s. If he goes on for another 15 years at City and then another club that wins a lot, this guy could surpass the GOAT. So I don't want that to happen. You suddenly take away everything he's done at City, take away all those trophies. In my opinion, he's never catching Fergie because there's just probably a little bit too much to do. And he's already in his mid-50s. And how much will this take out of Pep in terms of, I think Pep Guardiola is motivated by becoming the most decorated manager of all time. To suddenly lose, I don't know how many trophies has he won for you? It's got to be about 12, 11 or 12.
12 to 13, yeah, 12 to 13, I think so.
To suddenly lose 12 to 13 of your trophies, and all of his would go because every year he's been at the club. I mean, in fact, every year since you've had the Sheikh, you guys have cheated, so they all go. But it's just going to be soul destroying. The players as well. Even if you didn't get relegated, which is a big point deduction, but if KDB loses all these medals, he ain't stand. There's no way he can play for you. Equally, you guys ain't going to be able to afford the wages. Haaland will go because if you suddenly have to start reflecting what you really earn, you ain't affording no player that's on nearly £1 million a week. You're done. And this could be the beginning of the end of City. And the crazy thing is greed. If you would have stuck by the FFP rules and slowly built the revenues and slowly got to a stage where you could compete regularly, you may have won less in the last decade and a half, but at least you'd be able to sustain and make it. Sorry, there's a comment here that says, under Premier League rules, the club will not be able to appeal any sanctions of the Court of Arbitration of Sport, which overturn the UEFA ban. So, oh, wow, the Premier League has rules where you cannot appeal. So if they have if the Premier League sanction you, it cannot be appealed. Mate, if the Premier League finds you guilty, so I think essentially you have a hearing with the Premier League, no court case with the Premier League, and the Premier League say no, you've done it. Matt, you need to find a new club, Patrick, because your club's dead.
Nah, it's too late. Not doing that.
Patrick, but let me say this. I think if you're found guilty of all of this, I think Man City will fold as a football club. I think you'll go out of business because the reason I say that is because everyone and their cat and dog will sue you forever. Every team is not having cup competition.
Can I ask you something, Terry? Would you, if your team went down, would you start? No, I won't. It's fine. I would just sit there and watch the Premier League.
Okay, I get you, but I'm being a little bit flippant. I don't expect you to find a new team. I honestly mean this. If they're found guilty of half these charges and get relegated and get stripped and lose their income, other clubs will sue you. I honestly believe this could be the beginning of the end of City. Legitimately, and I'm trying not to be reactionary, even though I'm reacting to this news. But if you can't appeal it, done out here. Done. Finished. Winter Surfer's with us. What are you saying, bro?
Well, it took my first point. I was going to bring up the CAS, but if that's a rule, then CAS can't even save you. I didn't know that Premier League had their own rules with that, because I know if you're done by UEFA, you can go to CAS, because that's how we got our transfer ban overturned in 2020. So wow. I bet every Premier League club is scrambling this morning now after hearing this, especially the big boys, making sure their accounts are all in order, stuff like that. I mean, how long does this go on for? I mean, there's no date set, right? Did they have an appeal date set or
that's
something?
not been revealed as of now. But I
Because
can't imagine them letting it go on too long.
That's
Because
what I mean. Because it's just a nasty shadow hangs over this entire season, knowing that. I mean, I was thinking, do you then call in question Wigan's FA Cup win over City? Because City got to the final, they beat us in the semi-final. So, do you know what I mean? Can we legitimately say that Wigan's FA Cup is Wigan's FA Cup because City were in that final because they beat us? What if we beat City in the semi-final? Would Wigan have beat us? Do you know what I mean?
I think that's a great question. So, in terms of handing out the trophies to other clubs, that may not happen, and I'd like it to, but.
Yeah,
whether it does or it doesn't really change things.
Telling you, love it. I watched you earlier on. You said you're counting 23.
Again, but part of me is though, and I think it's harder with cup competitions because you knock teams out along the way, right? But with the leagues, that's just 38 games, and the point remains that if City hadn't cheated, you just think about Jose's season as an example. In fact, if you think about the year with Aguero, if they couldn't afford to have bought Aguero that year, that doesn't happen. Literally.
So do all the goals and all the stats go then as well? So all Aguero's goals go?
And that's the question. That's the question that needs to be remained. If City couldn't have afforded to buy the players they bought, everything has to be stripped because it's all through cheating. And
that moment goes.
If it's drugs treating, if you're I don't know the full rules. It doesn't really happen in football. But if right now Harry Kane, this is all just hypothetical, tested positive and admitted for the last decade he's been taking anabolic steroids, surely they'd have to take his goals away because in terms of you couldn't have his name, or at the very least you just stripe them off. But the point I'm saying about like giving the trophies away, yes, I'd love United to win those trophies, but to a degree, United and City, Liverpool, ironically, are the only two teams to have come second to City in the last decade or so. The point I'm making is that if they hadn't cheated, would they have won the leagues? The answer, in my opinion, is no. Maybe Centurion's year, they were so far ahead, but in leagues where with Liverpool, they won it by 1 point, or they beat Man United on goal difference, take away 3, 4, 5 of that squad they couldn't afford, and we all understand football to a point where it isn't going to... where it isn't going to happen. So I think from my point of view, from my point of view and perspective, they need the title stripped, record stripped at the very least. They need to be kicked out. If they get convicted of either 25% or more, kicked out of the Premier League, put down to, and I'm not talking Championship and damage those teams. I'm talking like Football Conference North, and then they need to be sanctioned with a cap of how much they're allowed to spend in those leagues. Every league they jump up into, they can spend a little bit more, and they have to organically work their way back up to the top. That's what they're going to do.
But there is precedent in British football. There is precedent. If you look at Rangers, let's go Rangers.
I just want to keep this in, Terry. If everything you're saying is true, this is the biggest scandal in Premier League history.
Without a shadow of a doubt, 110%. I cannot think of a bigger club scandal. Fabrizio's tweet, and I know everyone's saying Fabrizio has literally just shared the same news that Martin put out. Like Fabrizio hasn't tweeted anything new, and Fabrizio knows nothing about this. I don't mean horrible about him. He's literally just quoted what I do.
He's put "Here we go" next to it. That's why.
Kane on steroids. Wow, I said hypothetically. I'm not accusing him of it. I was just making a hypothetical example. But this is crazy.
Terry, didn't the same thing happen to Rangers? Didn't they have financial issues? They got sent down to the 4th division.
Yeah, they got sent down. Absolutely, but theirs wasn't cheating. Theirs was
that's just financial.
This is why it's different because when other clubs have been done, obviously when Juve got done, Inter got awarded it. When it's cheating, it's different from being kicked out the league for going bust and being going into administration or going out of business and having to start again. And the reason they had to start again is because Rangers, as we know it now, is actually a brand new club. The old Rangers actually doesn't exist anymore. The only thing they won an appeal in court so they could maintain the records of what they'd won. So you got to think about Rangers. They went out of business and they had to go through court to be able to keep the trophies as part connected to their new club. City have cheated. They don't deserve to keep any trophies, any stats, any records. Centurion's gone, in my opinion. And by the way, if this was Man United,
But Juve were match fixing, Terry, and they still kept the trophies. Juve were match fixing, match fixing.
and that's wrong though. That ain't my business, bro. My point of view is this: if you guys have cheated and build a squad that's you don't. My point is this: would you celebrate getting 100 points knowing that you built a squad by cheating?
I don't know. As a fan, I don't really care. But as a human being, I do sit there and have a bit of conscience. But as a fan, I don't.
Now, do you know why I know you care? No, do you know why? No, you do care, in my opinion. You know, have you ever done this? I've done this when I was younger. You play Football Manager, you save the game before a final, you lose the final, you reset your computer, you win the final. You know as well as I do, winning it don't feel as good when you turn a computer on and off. Because you know in your heart of heart, I didn't win it. You know, and that is how I know that every City fan, they won't tweet it, they won't say it, but they'll be, and I guarantee you, Big Steve on Wednesday on the terrace will sit here, Thursday, sorry, will sit here and say, these fuckers have damaged how I feel, because someone like Big Steve has been home and away since City were in the bottom leagues, and that's not a dig at younger fans. You weren't old enough to. Big Steve, he will say, listen, I'm not going to call it out until it's proven, but I know City fans will be, this is a disgrace. You know, I know Arsenal fans will be doing the same thing. If it turned out Arsenal cheating this season, I don't know, Pep's been putting something in their drink to make them run faster. Arsenal fans would want, they would, but I'm just making a hypothetical example. Arsenal fans would want Arteta gone, and they would almost say, like, we've got to declare the rest of the games of the season. No fan wants to win via cheating. If I found out that Fergie was legitimately paying referees, like legit doing it, not a joke, I'd say strip our titles, because I don't want them, because they're not real. You didn't earn them. And earning it for me is so important. It's so important. I've got to go to these super chats, and I'm going to come back to you guys in a minute. This one here says Chelsea. Oh, sorry, already done that one there. So I think I've already done some of these. Imagine Liverpool and Man United signing who? Kumbaya because of City. PS means also.
I think he means singing, not signing.
Oh, singing Kumbaya. Yeah. Sorry. There we go. I got once you said singing, I knew it was Kumbaya, but I didn't connect the words. The manager, they paid more on the sly for 4 years in that time frame, can only be Mancini. I heard about that as well. If City are cheating, they need to be caught out, then charged by UEFA. But the same thing, I believe. And you might even find there's another UEFA investigation now. How long before we see leave Brittany alone level meltdowns by City fans? If I'm not wrong, didn't Tottenham come second too? Yeah, but that was second. No, they didn't. Did they not?
They came second to Leicester and Chelsea. They didn't.
Yeah, that don't count.
To Leicester, don't get excited. You're still talking.
Yeah.
Don't get excited.
Arteta smelled it. Gabby and Zinchenko confirmed it. We will win. I'm going to come back to that in a minute. Chelsea next. I mean, a lot of people are hoping, Winter Surfer, that Chelsea also get done in the same way. I don't see it myself. I don't see Chelsea getting done.
Bro, I don't see we had 20 years of Roman Abramovich. We didn't get done. We just got sanctioned by a government. So you think they're not?
Yeah.
These whatever, man. Sure. Yeah. I know everyone wants it. It's all good.
Look at Martin Caesar's latest tweet. City are done. Yeah, we already put that update. Yeah, it feels like they are. If the allegations are true, there is an expulsion from the league, not a relegation to the championship. That would be a very generous.
AFC Man City.
Well, this is what it is. I mean, that could also be interesting, because if there's an expulsion, would the other leagues might say, we don't want you either. City may not be able to play football for a year. Oh, that'd be even better. Can you imagine it? Literally, Kevin De Bruyne and Haaland have to go to the park every Saturday and have a kickabout. That'd be funny.
Do they own the Etihad? Do they own that stadium?
I think they own the land, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for becoming a member here, my friend. Thank you. 0 titles will be taken as Terry giddy like an 8-year-old. Well, if they're not taken, then there's no punishment that's worthwhile. If they're not taken away, then basically you're saying cheat. Cheat, and then you might have one season where you get a points deduction. We might as well all cheat. It's crazy.
Terry, can I ask you, will you take Haaland?
Bro, let me just go through these super chats. There's loads of them, then we'll come back to questions in a minute. Under Premier League rules, the club will not be able to appeal any sanctions to the Court of Arbitration for Sport, which overturned the UEFA ban. Yep, thank you. Terry, I tagged you. I've been tagged in loads of tweets. DM it to me. It's easier. DM it to me, please. I'll see it easier. Can Patrick finally tell us when he started supporting City? My bet was after these allegations started. It got fishy ever since they got unbanned from UEFA, but it was always okay to target Chelsea over a couple of youngsters, yet they broke rules 100 times. They deserve to be relegated to the Championship or lower. 9 years. It's more than 9 years, bro. It's been 14, sorry. This super chat says from P56 of the Premier League handbook, and page 103 of the document, it itself shows each code that they have breached in that time period. Daniel, do me a favor, DM that to me on Twitter, and I'm gonna have a look at that this afternoon. Man United made a £100 million bid for Declan Rice in the summer, and it was rejected. Woo! I'm not surprised. Maybe we'll go for him again this summer. City are out the picture anyway. City ain't buying no one. Igal, if Zinchenko and Jesus get their medals taken away, this might either push them to play even better for Arsenal. I wanted to ask you, Igal, as one of my questions actually was, do you feel like this is good or bad news for Arsenal in the context of this season?
You know what? It just gives rivals another agenda. Now the new agenda is Arsenal have an asterisk when we win the Premier League. That's it, really. I'm not laughing at City fans. I'm just laughing at the fact that now it's going to be another target or something else that people are going to use against us if and when we do potentially win the Premier League. It's just going to be like, because I know people from the beginning of the season, they don't rate United to the level where they say you are going to compete for the Premier League. So there you go. That's probably what the new agenda is going to be. It is
The City statement is out.
Yeah, I'm gonna put that all up, bro. I'm gonna get that out in a minute. Yeah, Gal, do you know what's interesting? I think from my point of view, I was saying this to Jess just yesterday, that even if you win the league for whatever reason, fans will find a way of delegitimizing it. I was like, just like yesterday, you did it. You didn't delegitimize what Spurs did, but Spurs were actually getting banter yesterday because they helped Arsenal. I said if Man United inexplicably won the league this year, what you would get people say is, yeah, but it took you 1.8 billion and a decade to do it. Whenever you win something, you'll get people call you out. Statement is out from Man City, which we're going to put up on the screen right now. The statement here says, Man City FC are surprised by the issuing of these alleged breaches of the Premier League rules, particularly given the extensive engagement and vast amount of detailed materials that the Premier League have been provided with. The club welcomes the review of a matter by an independent commission to impartially consider the comprehensive body of irrefutable evidence that exists in support of its position. As such, we look forward to this matter being put to rest once and for all. So, of course, City are denying anything. They don't believe anything's going on. And that also gives us a bit more of an insight. So what will happen is City will push forward their evidence, the Premier League theirs, and then an independent committee will make an adjudication. Based on their adjudication, the Premier League will either drop the allegations and charges or it will sanction on the back of them. But remember, if the independent adjudicators favor with the Premier League and the Premier League, whatever the sanction is, whatever the punishment is, every Premier League club every season signs up to the law within the Premier League that whatever they're sanctioned with after one of these reviews, they cannot appeal in the the Court of Arbitration for Sport. So if the independent commission find Manchester City guilty, there will be very, very heavy penalties pushed against them. Some more super chats here. Athletes have their gold medals taken and given to silver medalists when they are caught cheating. I mean, I just don't know if that does or doesn't happen. Somebody needs to go. I need to go and research that, but I feel like they do. Or I know that they take them away, definitely. Terry, will Melbourne FC in Oz be investigated? I think the whole City group will be, though. I mean, I don't know the rules in their country, but the whole this is bigger than just Man City. Steve here says, "Morning, guys. Legit. Just got out of work hearing this madness. Are City guilty of financial manipulation or having fake bank accounts or something?" It won't be fake bank accounts. It will be, if it's anything, it's manipulating their income or not declaring all their expenditure so they can pass FFP rules. I mean, there's an article. I'll find it out and dig it out for the Top 6 show. But essentially, there's a company that sponsors City like 10 million a year. When you investigate the company, they don't offer any service. They don't sell any products. They don't have an office. They don't have any staff, but they can afford to pay City 10 million a year. That, for me, is as dodgy as a £9 note. You know, a $9 note. It doesn't sound right. Smug people don't care is what AMT says. What's going to happen to Spurs with the Italian hidden?
Hiding.
Well, I think you're talking about Peditici.
Yeah.
Nothing, because the rules are only being issued by Serie A. UEFA haven't done anything yet. So only if UEFA ban him will it impact Tottenham. United winning the league retrospectively doesn't sit right with me. However, if Arsenal are going to win by default this year, then I'm taking 3 titles as well. Well,
Terry,
I think. Yeah, go on.
mass exodus will be happening also. We can't forget about that.
All them
With
players are gone.
Guardiola's gone. The whole squad's pretty much gone. The only people they're going to be left with is like Rico Lewis and some of their academy players.
110.
He'll get snapped up, Rico Lewis.
Yeah, they're all
He'll
gone.
get- Yeah.
What if Pep knew
Palmer.
about this all along? Yeah, no, I don't think Pep does know. I don't. Again, I don't think the players or managers do. Same as the fans don't really. The fans are probably like, parents that want to pretend their kids don't smoke when they think they might, but until they actually catch them doing it, they'll always not believe it. That's the fans. But the players and the managers wouldn't be able to do this. They wouldn't. I just don't think they'd cheat like this. Patrick, my friend, the chat awaits. See you soon, mate, is what Red Devils Down Under says. Bye City. Nice knowing you is what Connor says here. Don't need titles stripped. I don't care about it. They need to be expelled for 5 years. I don't want Stevie G to have titles. Do you know what I'd say, Nabil? But even if they don't give the titles to other clubs, they can't have them on. How can they maintain a legacy they've built through cheating if found guilty? Doesn't sit right for me. How do I DM you, Terry? Twitter doesn't allow. Oh, is it not? My DM's not open.
You might have to follow him back, Terry. That's it.
Loads of people send me stuff that
I think I don't know if they've changed that on Twitter or something, but sometimes you have to follow people back.
Okay, cool. I'll try, Daniel. Mansour, independent regulatory bribery incoming. Well, there we go. It all depends who those independent people are. This is pretty much over for City and Pep. Levy saved Harry Kane from Championship football. Yeah. Do you think the punishment would take effect this season? It depends on when the inquiry, the independent commission is, and how quickly they can get it set up and everything else. Leagues are already pissed off with Premier League because of Chelsea spending. So UEFA is going to do a madness. Yeah, I can imagine UEFA are sitting there right now and they're working out what they can do. 100%. I think UEFA will be sitting there and thinking, what can we do? What can we throw in? How can we get ourselves involved? UEFA said they are not stripping City of their Champions League titles, is what Jolie says here. Do you think the punishment? Oh, sorry, I already had that super chat. Thank you. Lee. Sorry, already read that one. Some of them aren't. There you go. Liam and Noel will be sat alone in the stand watching City versus Wrexham. During the CAS investigation, breaches pre-2015 were barred, but all breaches post-2015 were cleared by PL Premier League FFP rules are less strict than UEFA's. But if they're less strict, then why would the Premier League charge them? If the Premier League are like, well, we're more lenient than UEFA, and UEFA cleared them, they wouldn't charge them. So let's see the wood for the trees. But something about this is fishy, really, really fishy indeed. Let's see. They paid 1.75 million to Mancini for coaching for 4 days in the UAE through a different contract made with a different company owned by Sheikh Mansour. They're the things. And the thing when it comes down to an independent inquiry, it isn't, it's not proving it. They'll see the evidence and it will be, do you think they're cheating or not? And for me, that's cheating. A pathetic FFP is pointless. If owners want to spend their own money, let him. Premier League is a cesspit of fraudery. Owners ain't doing absolutely nothing wrong. But the rules are there. Time bar your way out of this. Cheating City is what David has got to say here. And I do get the frustration and I do get the anger from other fans. I really do. Look, I want to say a big thank you to everyone. I can't actually. 7,500 people are watching us live. Please hit the like and the share button for us. We will be live later today, 6 p.m. for the Top 6 show. This is, of course, going to be huge news on that. It's going to be absolutely huge news. Come on, Terry, speak facts. Your club is £1 billion in debt. What's that got to do with anything? I don't understand what that means. If it turns out we've cheated and it means imagine cheating to get in debt. That makes sense, does it?
If this is a fellow City fan, this is not the time to be throwing stuff. It's one of those situations where you're like, oh, I broke into that house, but you killed somebody. That situation, nah. Just leave it, man. Let's just wait and accept this. You can't be throwing shade at other clubs, man.
I'll tell you what it is. I'll tell you what's weird about it. I followed you back, by the way, Daniel, so you can DM me whatever you need to DM me now. It's a bit like this. It's like Patrick commits fraud, and I say you're a fraudster, get out. And he says, yeah, but you've got a mortgage, so therefore you've got debt. What does that mean? Like, having a mortgage isn't bloody illegal. But there we go. Listen, I want to say a big thank you to everyone that's tuned in. We're back at 6 p.m. Make sure you're here for us. 7,000 people watching live is out of this world. Thank you for the support on the terrace today. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And I'll see you.